We called bluff against a machine that wanted to bully me for not wavering from my personal beliefs. A machine that has corporate interests to protect prostitutes. This machine, this thing, secured and it poses a threat to the machine's sole intention to mislead the public and malicious towards a machine that glorifies a lifestyle, a machine that clearly influences or invasion of privacy when these machines have pushed this lifestyle on us for profit. This machine never wanted my money. Challenge a machine that protects their corporate interests. This machine tried to squeeze us for everything. Fighting machines with endless money protecting their investments. This machine has tried to have me arrested, and no machine will ever stop me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Put it out. It's gossip, bitch. Okay?
Girl, thank Google.
I Googled my symptoms.
Never do that.
And I really would love to get that out of my brain.
I've seen it. It's disgusting.
Something about Elisa. There's something about Elisa.
Oh, Lisa.
Sweet. I love that. Like, oh, dun, 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 dun. Yes. You have to be accountable for what you did.
Who, me? What? I regret nothing. The end.
Did I do something I shouldn't have done?
It's confusing.
What?
Am I missing something?
What the hell is going on? Like, I
do not understand.
What is this woman talking about?
What you talking about, Willis?
I don't want a dissertation. I just want an apology.
I'm sorry you think you deserve an apology.
You deserve 2 flushes. Get out of here, Uncle Tina. Bye. All right, so now he's blaming the weed. This is the whole Shaggy thing. It wasn't me. Another wonderful show tonight with a very special guest.
Who? Me? No!
You ready to do this?
Oh, I'm ready to do this.
And let me tell you, these Tuesdays, they go so fast. Oh my gosh.
Too much time on your hand, is it?
honey, turn that clock off. I ain't paying no attention to it. Turn it off. Turn it off.
We will be right back.
I'll be right here doing nothing.
Man, you don't want to miss this.
I'll be there.
I am back. I have my Wonder Woman bracelet on. Well, I only have one, but anyway.
Hello, Urbanites. Hello.
What's happening? It's been a minute.
Hey, what's up, cholas?
What's up?
Hello, gorgeous.
And let's dig into this because this is really important.
I'm listening.
My Urbanites, I love you. I'll see you soon. Welcome, my Urbanites. How are you all doing tonight? You have entered into the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa LaCon, Urban Tunes for Change. Yes, welcome. Yes. Oh my goodness, yes.
You are entering the Urban Suite with Dr. Lisa LaCon. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa LaCon.
Oh, I love that beat. Dun, 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 dun. Yes. So listen, you have entered into the Urban Suite. Tonight, we have, as always, a huge show. We're going to talk about being attacked by a bear. Oh, and my experience of being attacked by a bear. It is actually an acronym. I'm going to talk about that a little later. And then we have a special guest, Mr. Darnell Hill from Urban League of Essex County, New Jersey. Listen, you don't want to miss it. I need you to grab paper, pen, pencil, whatever you do, smoke signals, whatever it takes for you to internalize the information for tonight. But I don't want to give up too much. So guess what? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, my urbanites. Listen, for those of you all that are new to this platform, to this channel, to this page, I always do a person that is missing. And the person that is missing that I'm going to highlight today is Nasir Rahman. Nasir Rahman has been missing since February the 28th, 2022. He's 24 years old. He's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think last week we had someone from Zachary, Louisiana. He's a male. He's Black. His complexion is medium. He's 5'9". He weighs 175 pounds. His hair color is black. His hair length is shaved. His eye color is brown. His location last seen, Nasir was last seen on February the 28th, 2022 in the area near Sherwood Forest Boulevard. Circumstances of his disappearance, they're unknown. Listen to this. On the night of Nasir's birthday, he left home around 9:30 p.m. and hasn't been seen or heard from since. Listen, you guys, this is someone's child. This may be someone's brother, but definitely someone's relative. If you have seen Nasir, please, please, please contact the Baton Rouge Police Department. We have the number at the ticker on the bottom, the Baton Rouge Police Department at area code 225-389-2000. Again, that telephone number is area code 225-389-2000. Or you can contact the Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated at 877-97-BAMFI. Listen, this is why it's important for you all to share this information. I started doing this as a result of us missing, because this is from the Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated. I started doing this as a result of our people not being highlighted. So I made it a promise. As a mother, listen, as a mother of 4, if one of my children went missing, I would definitely want someone to share this information. So please, I ask you all to share this information, share on Facebook. I'm on various Facebook pages. I am on Facebook Blessed Ministries, Facebook Urban Tools for Change, Facebook Dads. So please share, 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 and let's bring Nasir Rahman home. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Lisa LaCon. Oh, guess what, you guys? I have some very exciting news.
Folks, great news.
I am moving my time to 7 p.m. Tuesdays. Listen.
I think I'm getting excited.
Are you getting excited?
I heard from you guys, and I called a family meeting. I said,
plaguing our community.
Whiskers, that's my cat and dog. I am moving from 10 to 7 p.m.
Good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yo, that's big.
I can't wait to see you Tuesday. New time, 7 p.m. Yay! All right, see you guys. Bye.
Let me see you do that. Yeah, you're getting excited.
Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa LaCon.
Listen, did you all see that? That was a B.E.A.R. Now, B.E.A.R stands for, it's an acronym for our beliefs expected as reality. And for far too often, sometimes our beliefs and the systems that we operate in under our belief system can be very faulty. And those beliefs expected as reality, that B.E.A.R, can definitely do major damage. And this is what I'm going to talk about tonight, how our beliefs expected as reality can trip us up. Our beliefs expected as reality basically can trigger our anxiety. So let me tell you a story, something that happened to me. All right, so growing up in Washington, D.C., a lot of people had dogs. They had big dogs. Back then they had German Shepherds, Dobermans, things of that nature. So as a result of that, I saw dogs, but I never had a dog. So Curtis, bring that back up about the B.E.A.R and the historical data. So basically, there are 3 data points that exist for us to have a B.E.A.R effect. Historical data, witness data, and hear saw data. And I'm going to go through each one to show you how each data point can trigger anxiety. Okay. So remember I said growing up in DC in the, I would say, late 70s, people had dogs. They had big dogs. Now, I wasn't afraid of big dogs prior to something happening to me, but I was attacked. I was like 9 or 10 years old. I was attacked by 2 dogs at the same time, a Doberman and a German Shepherd. And let me tell you what happened. I'm walking home from school. My sister, her friends are behind me. I'm walking home from school and I'm carrying my granddad's. I have his umbrella. It's a long black umbrella with that long black spoke and the hook. Okay, you have a hook. So I'm walking. Now, typically I would walk with my sister, but for some reason that day, I decided to break away from her and her friends and walk by myself. So as I was walking, I kid you not, you guys, I'm telling you, as sure as I'm looking at what I see right now, these 2 dogs, now mind you, I'm 9 or 10. These 2 dogs come charging out of the house and try to attack me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And thank God I had my grandfather's umbrella. I had to jump on the hood of the car. And with that long black umbrella, I had to poke and stiff. I mean, listen, it was either eaten or beaten. I was not going to be a dog's Alpo that day. I'm telling you, that thing frightened me so much. Oh my gosh. Being attacked by 2 of one of the strongest dogs at the age of 9 or 10. So I had to fight. I just had my umbrella just sticking. And then I think I poked a dog in the mouth because the dog was like, arr, 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 arr. And then the owner finally came out the house. I don't know where the owner was. Obviously, he didn't have his door locked. So anyway, he called the dogs back in. And as a result of that, I had a fear of big dogs for years. So, because that happened to me personally, that's historical data for me. Because the trauma affected me personally. It was directed toward me. So my beliefs expected as reality going through life based on the historical data of being attacked by dogs, it triggered anxiety whenever I saw big dogs for years. And let me tell you, my urbanites, I would have nightmares of walking up the street. It was on Tuckerman Street in Northwest DC. Yep, Tuckerman Street. All my dreams centered around walking up Tuckerman Street and being chased by dogs because I had fear based on what happened to me personally. That's the historical data. So remember I said that there are 3 data points where we have our beliefs expected as reality. So the next data point that can trigger anxiety is, what if someone saw me being attacked by a dog and being mauled by a dog? Now, it didn't happen to them specifically, but they personally witnessed it. And from their personal experience of witnessing what happened to them, they now may be frightened by huge dogs. So every time they see a big dog, their belief expected as reality says to them, this dog is going to attack me because I saw what happened to little Lisa on the street. Now, if that dog attacked little Lisa, that dog can attack me. So remember, we have 3 data points, okay? Now, the third data point, which can shape our B.E.A.R system, I call it the B.E.A.R effect, is the hear-saw data. Now, the hear-saw data doesn't mean you were physically there, but you heard about it or saw it through a third party, such as the media or something like that. So this is how the hear-saw data works. So say, for instance, you are used to walking up Tuckerman Street, okay? And you read in the newspaper that little Lisa was mauled by 2 dogs. Guess what you may do as a result of reading that or seeing that? You may change your routine and your route and not walk up Tuckerman Street. Why is that? Because you expect your belief system, you expect to be attacked based on what you read, based on what you saw through a third party, that you would be attacked. So you're going to change your routine based on that, and it may trigger anxiety. So all of these things can trigger anxiety, these traumatic events. But guess what? Your belief system can be faulty, because I feared every single big dog. And what I thought would happen to me was, I thought even in my 20s, even in my early 30s, maybe, that I would get attacked by big dogs based on the historical data. And it was very faulty thinking. So guess what would happen to me when I saw a big dog? I would start sweating a little bit. I would walk across the street to get away from the dog, because my belief system, I went back to that moment where those 2 dogs attacked me at the age of 10. It was awful, 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 awful. So as a result of that, I understand now that our beliefs can be very faulty, and then they can trigger anxious thoughts or our anxiety. So remember, you have the historical data, you have the witness data, and you have the hear-saw data. Remember, the historical data is if the traumatic experience happened to you personally, you may have been the target of that event. The witness data is you witnessed it, you were there, you witnessed it, but you were not necessarily the target of the event. And then the hear-saw data basically is you heard it from a third party, or you saw it, whether someone talked to you about it in the neighborhood that said, you know what, don't go down Tuckerman Street because little Lisa got mauled by dogs. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to change your routine because you're like, you know what? I fear, because that is fear. I fear going down Tuckerman Street as a result of what happened to little Lisa. But there's no real basis to you going on Tuckerman Street and dogs attacking you. So that was crazy. Curtis, have you ever been attacked by dogs or anything like that?
No, I've never been attacked by a dog. But it's the same thing, similar to when black people get filed by the police. They're saying, like, as soon as you see the police car behind you, you think something bad is going to happen. So that's what I equate it with. Like, instead of dogs, I see it as like the police. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Your beliefs expected as reality. So based on what happened in the past, or based on what you saw, or based on what you read through social media, if the police is going to come behind you, you're going to be like, what's happening? And you're going to get a little anxious. You're going to get a little anxious. But guess what? That police may not even be thinking about you.
True.
That police may be thinking about going home. That police may be thinking about, I'm hungry. That police may not be thinking about you at all. But it's your belief system that you expect as reality that police is going to pull you over, stop you for whatever reason.
Can we say the same thing about like how our less melanated friends think about black people when they walk across the street?
Absolutely. The media, that's the hearsay. So based on what they have seen via the media, they're like, oh my gosh, clutch my purse. Oh my God. Because even in their mindset, they have a level of anxiety. It's triggering anxiety to them. That's the hearsay data. So when they say, well, I have black friends, that's a way of saying, you know what? I can go and move beyond the hearsay data because I know what I see on TV versus I know how my friends are. So say, for instance, in that instance, if they see black people and they hang around a lot of black people, they may not clutch their purse.
That makes
because
sense.
There's no level of anxiety because they know that what they see on TV is not true for every black person, just like with my dogs. You know, I saw big poodles. Now, do you actually think a big poodle will attack me? I mean, really? A big poodle dressed up with a nice fur, and I'm still, let me walk across it a little bit. Yeah. But it triggered the anxiety. And as a result of that, I had a fear for a very long time. And that's what the party goers, that's what they experience because of the media. That, again, is that hearsay.
That's very powerful. The hearsay data seems like it can overpower historical data. Like that never happened to you.
Absolutely.
But if you see it on TV all the time, that's what you believe. It never happened to you.
Absolutely. And today we call it's propaganda. Propaganda can, in fact, create this B.E.A.R effect, which can, in fact, trigger anxiety. Absolutely. It really can. And it's a disservice. And then with social media, you see more of it, you know? So it's something. But yeah, that incident was very, that was frightening for me. I literally had nightmares for years of being attacked and chased by dogs. Because what happened to me personally.
Yeah, Emmanuel Cruz says you're right.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, it's real. It's real. So going into anxiety, we have the 8 levels. Let's briefly go over the 8 levels.
There you go. All
right. So in that situation with me being attacked by a dog, the first level is trepidation. And that's when we do, When I see a dog back then, because I have no fear of dogs anymore, I used to be like, So that's when you're like, oh my gosh, let me walk across the street. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to sweat. Like, you know, your underarms start to sweat because you're getting a little nervous because you go back to that place of reference. You go back to the mind is a computer. The mind is sort of like a computer, and there are different data things that you need to delete it. And then there's a process on trying to delete the data. And we're going to talk about that a little later. But because that happened to me personally, I was like, oh my gosh. And then when I said I started to get sweaty and stuff like that, that's nervousness. That's the next stage. That's the next level. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to get nervous. And then if your nervousness doesn't subside, that's when the anxiety really comes in. Your heart starts to beat really fast. You start to sweat more and things of that nature. And then the next one is dread. And let me tell you, dread, sometimes it keeps you like stuck. You're like, oh my gosh. It's like, oh my gosh, why am I here walking on this block with this dog? Because, there are a lot of people that would walk dogs unleashed. And they're well-behaved dogs, but I don't know that. I don't know that. And then the next level is desperation. And desperation, let me tell you about desperation, because I have to read this about desperation. Now you feel hopeless. You feel hopeless and you think there is no way out because of your thoughts. And then you make decisions based on this condition. And oftentimes these decisions are one of rage. And we're going to talk about that with our guests. How the population that he serves, they may be desperate in a sense. We're going to get into that a little bit later. And then the sixth level is panic. Now, panic is now you have entered this overpowering zone of fear. You have physical reactions that can occur at this point, and you may feel like you are having a heart attack based on your thoughts. Based on your thoughts. It's sort of like that song, My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. My mind's playing tricks on me. Dun, 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 dun. Who did that song? I can't remember. Anyway, after that one is horror. Horror, horror, horror. Now, horror, now you're disgusted with what you see playing out in your mind. It's like a big horror movie. It's like Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, all at the same time playing out and attacking your mind at the same time. Like, oh my gosh. And then the last level is terror. Terror is let me tell you about terror. You are now under severe attack based on your thoughts. And the only way out to rid these thoughts is by extinguishing them through healthy coping strategies. And we're going to talk about that. Healthy coping strategies, or listen to this, or death. It's either healthy coping strategies or death. With death, you start to plan and plot how you will end your life. And it's based on your thoughts. Am I going to take pills? Am I going to hang myself? Am I going to jump out the window? These are things that's called suicidal ideation. And it's like, oh my goodness. And then you attempt to end your life based on your thoughts. You can be successful or not. If you are successful, you have in fact ended your life based on thoughts. And unfortunately, it's just like the former Miss America who took her life. If she didn't have a chemical imbalance, oftentimes people see no way out and they end up taking their life because there's no way out in their mind. And it started out with trepidation. And this is from Atlas of Emotions. Now, the B.E.A.R effect, that's from me. Historical data, witness data, here saw data, triggers anxiety. That is from Dr. Lisa LaCon. But the 8 levels of intensity associated with fear, that's from Atlas of Emotions. So with that said, we are going to bring out our guest, Mr. Darnell Hill. Yes, from the Urban League of Essex County.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Awesome.
How are you tonight?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said, how are you tonight?
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. This is an amazing opportunity. I really appreciate you inviting me here on behalf of my organization and our program. You're an awesome person. I'm sitting here taking notes. I'm like, B.E.A.R, I'm ready to add this to my curriculum. Let's talk about it.
The B.E.A.R. This is the B.E.A.R.
I think so. Just to let everybody know what I do, I work with Urban League. I work with the Urban Youth Reentry Program, where we deal with 18 to 24-year-old justice-involved youth. Now, that saying right there is pretty long, and I am in my bedroom / office. But, it's my guest room. But what I want to share is that your B.E.A.R principle applies to all these kids. And we deal with kids that, when I say justice involved, that means they could have been on probation, parole, coming home from being in prison or in jail, coming home from being detained, past juvenile reputation, but they're stuck being called a criminal, and they're stuck being called something that they're not, right? They made a mistake. They might have committed a crime. I'm not speaking for their crimes or the morals of the crimes, but they're still young people who deserve an opportunity to move forward, right? To have a sense of change. And your B.E.A.R principle hits it right on the nail. I was totally thinking about that 5 is where all my kids are right before they commit that crime. Right before they grab that gun. In Newark, especially now with the car theft, before they decide to steal that car. There's a sense of desperation that, and I'm glad that's the word used, because the hopelessness is almost like a tiger backed into a corner. Right. And they feed that mindset. They keep giving them these thoughts. There's nothing for me. The I don't give enough attitude. Nobody cares about me. And it's reinforced by what they're witnessing and their historical data, right? And their hearsay, right? They've seen people being arrested and go away for years.
Yes.
They've been themselves possibly put in cuffs. I mean, we've seen on the news where 6 and 7-year-old Black children are put in cuffs because of misbehavior in school. What does that tell a kid at 7 years old?
Right.
What kind of mindset does he build into this fear of being arrested? And then you go into the media. I mean, we all know every other month, another young Black male or female is being killed by police actions. And, I'm in no judgment of the police. I have friends that are police officers. I myself used to want to be one.
Right.
But I will say this, that B.E.A.R effect is there. There's a professor by the name of Robert Collier. He used to be a Black Panther. And he taught me in my Black leadership course, Darnell Hill, you didn't know this? There's a target on your back every day when you walk out that house. And I'm like, what do you mean, man? I grew up in a very diverse area in Newburgh, New York. He said, somebody out there doesn't like you and doesn't let's take it another step. They hate you. And they can't wait to enact the system that they're in on you, because they are too coward to take out their own hatred on you.
Yes.
And that happens so often to these kids in Newark, where once they're put in change, there's nobody saying, hey, kid, take it easy, take a deep breath. This is going to be crazy. Let's explain to you what's going to happen to you. If they haven't already been shoved in a car and brought somewhere where they don't know where they are, they're probably intoxicated. So they're left in a room to detox. There's nobody saying, hey, calm down. Things are going to work out. You're still a human being. No, you're a number now.
Right. So let's talk specifically about the program that you have for the young adults, 18 to 24. What is the mission of the program, and what do you all hope to ultimately accomplish?
So the mission of the Urban Youth Reentry Program, funded by the Department of Labor's YARP grant, is to provide opportunity or remove obstacles for young 18 to 24-year-old justice-involved youth, young adults, to get into college. We are a different approach than the DOL has ever taken. Usually the DOL is always about getting the jobs, keeping them in jobs, and sometimes, as we all know in the field, those jobs do not last. I'm sure you know this, Ms. LaCon, Dr. LaCon, that oftentimes these kids are given a resource, but they don't have the mindset to use it. So they're given a job, but they don't understand the responsibility or the accountability it takes to keep that job or to excel at that job and to turn it into a career. So our goal is to take quality time, talk to these kids, walk them through the steps of whatever they need to get to college. That's getting their IDs. We've worked with some with getting their GEDs, getting them out of domestic violence situations, right? Getting their life ready. Because if you throw them into college, that's a traumatic experience in itself.
Right.
The demand is right now.
Right.
There's no time to think about it. And a lot of times, that's also the B.E.A.R effect. Kids don't have time to prepare themselves to be in a good state of mind to take on what comes in as college and what we know as education.
Right.
And our program works hard to alleviate a lot of those obstacles. With my senior advocacy counselor, Anthony Hernandez, he does a great job of talking these kids through their situation, bringing them to reality. Hey, you're on probation, but if you do X, Y, and Z, this is the outcome. And you can even move past that by doing this.
Right.
And our program works very diligently to get kids to that point of saying, I can go to college and I can succeed there. One of our constituents right now, a young lady from the north side of Newark, she's 24 years old, assaulted when she was younger. She lost an eye, assaulted when she was older by her robbery team that she went to jail for. And she's now excelling. With the time we took 3 months just to talk to her from June all the way to September before she enrolled in college. And now she's got over a 3.0 GPA. She knows how to handle the situations that come up. She's not thrown off and become desperate, because it happened to her briefly. She was desperate. She got so scared of failure that she was right there, that she had a little bit of a breakdown. But we were able to coach her. And see, that's the thing I think I want to stress here, is that people like yourself and I, who I can identify these fears, know how to approach these people and make them feel comfortable. Make them not fear adults, right? These 24-year-olds, every adult that they've come in contact, including and possibly in their family, has abused them, has touched them, treated them inhumanely, to the point where they don't even know themselves that they are still somebody.
So listen, Donnell, do me a favor, because we're on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify. So they can't see the website information. They can't see the telephone number. Can you share with us the website and the telephone number if anyone is interested in your program?
Yes. Right now, we're at www.ulec.org. The number there is 973-624-9535. And my extension is 212. And you also can reach me at dhill@ulec.org. And Ms. LaCon, man, I highlight just a couple other things real quick.
Sure.
At Urban League, we pride ourselves in not just, our mission is to help African American and disadvantaged individuals become socially and economically equitable. And that means having the same as everybody else. And we do that with individual empowerment. And we've done so many things. We have a couple of programs. We have a program called Project Ready right now, which is all about mentoring young children, 18 and younger, getting them into college, past college, and hopefully into a good college. Our pre-apprentice program, which is we call our PACE program, where they're actually learning carpentry and electrical skills to become a pre-apprentice. We follow them through all the steps and get them ready to be an apprentice. We have our FOC program. Our financial literacy is given there. They've done tax assistance. And then we also have a 55 and over program.
Okay, right.
And we serve all of Essex County, as well as a PSE&G Green Energy Careers Program. I say all of that because this is what's offered to my kids.
Right.
When they come in our program, they don't just get Urban Youth Reentry Program. They get everything. Our food pantry. Just to give some numbers, 2020, we gave out $147,000 in eviction support to 69 individuals.
Wow, nice.
Yes, 180,000 pounds of food to over 78 underserved people, $26,000 and $10,000 in emergency cash assistance, as well as $10,000 in ShopRite cards. And we also kept our preschool open for 45 kids to be able to go to school during that COVID situation.
Nice. I got to ring the bell for you. Yes. That's
Urban League has done a lot. And I'm glad to be a part of this organization. I've been here for a year. I don't know if you know this, but Urban League of Essex County, which just means we serve all of Essex County and sometimes neighboring areas, has been here for over 100 years.
Yes. Now, Essex County, the Urban League of Essex County, is it like, because there's one huge Urban League, correct? How is that broken down? Like, because there's a Urban League of Union.
So there's a National Urban League. Yes. The National Urban League is like, let's say the headquarters, right? And there's headquarters in certain areas that keep us all connected. And then there's like chapters, right? The urban Essex County. I know there's the Greater of New Orleans is a friend of mine. We have Atlanta, different places. New York City has their own chapter. So yeah, we're the Urban League of Essex County, and we're here to serve these underserved people, individuals in this area.
Now, who are some of your partners in terms of with the 18 to 24-year-olds?
Well, one of our greatest partners who we just recently partnered with is Blessed Ministries. Shout outs. We've done some great things with you in your job fairs. We really appreciate that. Being able to give the kids a weekly outlet to be able to go look for jobs. We've also partnered with Essex County Probation. They've been a great partner to us as they've helped. And I got to say it, our biggest partner, Essex County College.
We love Essex County College.
Yes.
In the house. Yay!
Mitra and Joanna Ribeiro.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
They are amazing support group for me. Those women have definitely opened. Shout out to Women's Month. I got to shout those women out.
Yes.
And also my COO, Miss Patricia Sermon.
Yes.
They have been directly hands-on with me, helping me to mold this program to fit the needs of what's now. And it's been tough because during the pandemic, it's hard to get to people virtual and things like that. And they've all been helpful. And also, I got to shout out my CEO and president, Vivian C.
Yes, Vivian.
She is.
I believe Vivian's from DC. I believe Vivian is from Washington, DC, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. DC connection. I understand. I like that. But yeah, our program, going back to the program, we really try to help kids to not just change their mindset of career and job, but look at their life and set themselves up as a better person with a better life to be able to move in the direction where things will be permanent. I feel a lot of times it's not cyclic. You know what I mean? You can get a kid you can get a young adult a good job, but if you don't put the mindset with it, they won't appreciate it, they won't take advantage of it, and they definitely won't keep it. And your B.E.A.R factor is that too. Like growing up and being responsible. Some of these young people, just like you had that experience with the dog, it's been said psychologically that when people are going through trauma or they have a traumatic experience, their age, mentality, maturity stops.
Yeah.
So at 15, if they're seeing, somebody get shot or, they're going through domestic violence in the home or drug addiction or just even a police raid, that traumatic experience could stunt their maturity. So oftentimes when they get to desperation as a young adult,
man, that
they're
desperation
playing with half a gut. They're not. And it's not fair to them.
Yep. It brings outrage, and we see the result of that. We see gang violence, we see crime. And you mentioned something that I said months ago, that I knew carjacking would increase. I don't know how I knew. I was just, testing the wind. I don't know how, but carjacking. People are desperate because, one, oftentimes our population, we engage in criminal activity based on survival.
Yep, that's
and now with the gas prices going up and inflation, and you know what, the minimum wage hike existed, but it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, I often say this: capitalism is there. Yes, it's the American dream, but it doesn't always have to apply. With things like, things that people need, just like with the PPE stuff when, COVID first happened, I remember when a thing of Lysol was over $30.
Yeah.
And that was something I needed to protect my life, my kids' life.
Right.
And it just makes me ask the question, the American dream wasn't always about capitalism. It was about supporting each other and being one nation under something that brings us together to care about the next neighbor.
Right.
And I feel like when you have all these different things, we talk about this in sociology, deviance.
Yes.
They're deviating from the norm of how to get there.
Right.
But their goals are the same.
Their
goals are the same. You ask these kids, what do you want? I would like to have a house, a car, a family, a dog. It's the same norms. And we're not recognizing deviance is not criminal. It's just survival.
And that's the theory of anomie by Robert K. Merton. And it's like, oh my gosh, you see these theories become reality. The populations that we serve. This is something. So outside of some of the success stories, which is fantastic, what are some of the trends that you see in terms of the demographics, like fatherlessness? What are some of the trends?
Yeah, that's so if I were to have to say, I've met only one father out of all my participants.
And how many participants?
Right now we have currently 12 participants solid. We're working on, we just received another 5 referrals. But out of those 12 participants, we've only seen one father. And I've been in this business a long time, I should say. That's usually the MO. And for me, or the general purpose. And for me, that's heartbreaking as a father now that I have, a son and a son to be, because I realize my impact. I see the balance of the scale with my wife and our children, and that balance sometimes is hard. If you have one person raising kids, your patience level and your bandwidth of being able to control those situations, it's not humanly possible.
It is very challenging. And then you have those stressors. And then, like you said, you become frustrated, and then you become desperate.
There you go.
And then there's the rage.
The bear. Yep. The bear comes out.
The bear comes literally
out. And it's a repeating cycle because, these people who don't have fathers, now these sons don't want to be fathers again, or don't choose to stand up to. And it's not even a choice. Sometimes it's like you said, it's a survival tactic that's been indoctrinated, right? I'm going to go out here and get it any way I can. I'm going to deal these drugs. I'm going to hold this gun. And they're really, in their mind, they're chivalrous. Like they're valiant in their attitude, you know? And then meeting the system that doesn't see that underlying mindset and nourishing that, all you do is crush it. And now you've taken the valiant out and you've created what you really hated, which is a criminal.
That's right. And we
criminal, I should say.
Where we used to operate out of on Washington Street, we were broken in 3 times. Someone broke into our office 3 times. So I didn't get upset because I knew that it was survival. Like they're trying to survive. They're trying to steal something because they may not have the skill set to go to a 9 to 5. They tried to steal something so that they could go on the street to get money for it, whether to eat, pay rent, and then oftentimes it was drugs. I have to,
Well, that was my next challenge. My next challenge is the opiates.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes.
And it's beyond. And I say this. I know our country is going into this marijuana recreational, but there's no culture around it that how do I say that garnishes ethics. With alcohol use. My father's a drug and alcohol counselor for over 30-something odd years, and detox counselor. There's signs everywhere that tells you how to drink, right? Drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink by yourself. There's a culture there that tries to. There's nothing there for marijuana.
Right.
So people don't know you're not supposed to drive while you get high.
Right.
You're not supposed to be around your children.
Right.
Smoke still applies.
Yes, and operate machinery because you're impaired.
And these are just simple things, not to mention the lethargic attitude you get because of the chemicals and the heart problems it can also cause. I'm not, like I said, I'm not here to preach about right or wrong, whether it's recreational. There's just no culture of ethics around it.
Right.
And I think giving that to our youth and opening that door without those training wheels, that's as we can go back to 1980, you opened the gate, aka the gateway drug. Because now these kids are going to wonder, what's the next party? What's the next high?
Yes.
And our kids here in Newark, the opiate system is so high, they're functioning addicts.
Right.
It goes to sleep.
Curtis, Curtis, can we go to some of the comments? Because I see a lot of comments coming in and I want to highlight and shout out some folks. Let's see, Katina Leak. She says, good evening, great people. Miss Leak, Urban League Community Partner. This is a great session and must continue to be shared. Glad to meet you here. The work must be done for our youth. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And then Evangelist Jerry and James Hendricks says, teach. Yes, absolutely. And then Emmanuel Cruz says, D Hill for mayor of Jersey. All right. All right.
You heard it here first, right? Mayor of Jersey. Who knows?
Oh my gosh. So
thank you, Emmanuel.
Now, how long is this program? And 2 questions. Where are your referrals coming from? Like, how do
So we've been reaching out to anybody and everybody for referrals. We've gotten some referrals, obviously, from probation. We worked with another organization. I just want to shout them out, Apex Solutions. They did a construction training with us. Shout out to my guy, Corey. He was amazing. And Jack Cruz and all my guys over there. You guys were great working with you. But we're looking everywhere. I'm calling right now. We've expanded to East Orange and Irvington. You know, any organization that has anybody 18 to 24-year-olds, schools included, please send them to us and let us know. We can be there to help, or we can be there to speak. Our program goes, we have service. We end in December 2023 is when this program is over. So we have 2 more years of service. But I divide that up, 1 more year of direct service and enrollment. And the second year is all follow-up. So my goal this year is to really hit 50 people or more. Our goal for the grant is 110. So we have 110 slots.
Okay.
If we get more, then we provide for more. And I'm always ready. My phone, once these people, whoever is interested, people hear about this program, they'll see my number is in everybody's phone. All of my participants can get to know me directly, and they have a bond with my my advocacy counselor, Anthony Hernandez. I'm sorry, Mr. Hernandez. He's gonna hate me for that. But he's been amazing, and like I said, we're really trying to open our doors to give these services to as many people as possible. And like I said, not only our services, but the rest of Urban League behind us.
Right. So what is the most challenging aspect of working with the youth?
I have to say it's a combination.
Okay.
It's a combination between mental health and dealing with drug addiction.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of look at your B.E.A.R situation. And was looking at the different tiers and realize if somebody smokes weed at tier 1, they become a tier 8.
Right.
Quickly, just through the paranoia that marijuana gives, right? And same thing with withdrawal, with not using, opiates. And then you turn to the mental health capacity, or mental illness, I should say, and just getting kids to identify, their traits. And like you said, learning how to cope with depression, with anxiety, with anger, with abuse, even dealing with, ADHD and all these other things that they've had, but being able to learn strategies that make them still feel human.
Right.
They're still a person.
Now,
as a special education teacher, that was, one of the main things I used to do in special ed was learning. This because you learned it differently doesn't mean you didn't learn.
Right. Now you're dealing with a very challenging population, because that age 18 to 24, typically that is the age, especially 18 to 24, the onset of psychiatric disabilities.
Exactly.
And that's another layer to that age group. And then the other layer of that age group is that your brain at that age of like 18 to 23 and things like that is not fully developed.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, if you have used substances, it's like, oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. And I remember, thank God it was MTV. They had a special one time on ecstasy, and they showed this young lady's brain, and it was like the brain of a 74-year-old, where 70% of her brain was non-functioning.
Yeah,
she was only like 26 years old, but she was an avid e-pill user. And you could say the same now. We don't know the long-term effects of opiates.
That's right. Yeah.
We've been experiencing this now for the last maybe 10, 15 years hardcore, where we've been peeling back the layers and doing research. But we still don't know what the body is going to do, or how these people are going to be mentally, after the age of 60.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, some of these pills are so strong. The benzos I know are one that even just the detox process could kill them.
Wow, that is
to get
crazy.
you clean, we have to risk death.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And those are pills that are still being produced as a way of healing somebody.
Right.
I don't see it.
The harm reduction aspect sometimes is a little like, so the name of the show is Urban Tools for Change. So the reason why it's called Urban Tools for Change is because I work specifically with the urban community, and we have tools for change. So what tools have you found to be effective working with this population?
Well, the first thing I really feel is a great tool is find somebody who cares.
Support.
Like genuine, yeah, find support.
Support.
I think, when people try to do this individually, I understand the undertaking, but the success rate of somebody working by themselves versus asking for help, that's the key tool. If you can learn that tool, ask for help, that right there puts you back in the game.
Right, your circle of support.
Yeah, I'm a former football player. I'm a lineman. So, the quarterback could be all in the paper. He could be as pretty as he want to be and, score all the touchdowns. If he don't ask me to make that block.
Right. Oh, yeah.
He's got to ask for help. It's going to come. So the same thing for these people, that I try to talk to and the people I love, I grew up with. I'm from Newburgh, New York. It's the same demographic as Newburgh. When I talk to them, I'm trying to just get them to say, hey, I need help first. Because if you don't ask for it, it doesn't stick.
Right. You have not because you ask not.
Yeah, exactly. That's one. Two, language. What are you saying about
language?
Yeah, what are you saying about yourself? I call it the diet. And oftentimes people think the diet is what you eat. It's it's what you ingest through your eyes, what you're listening to, what you're smelling, what you're touching, right? So if you're listening to, depressive and violent things all the time, and you talk about yourself in a negative way, and all you hear from other people is negative thoughts, that's what you're ingesting, that's what you're swallowing, that's who you become.
Right.
We need people to start surrounding themselves with people that are going to speak about you highly, give you a mantra. I tell my class, one of my great quotes is, go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll be able to see further.
Right.
The anxiety of always having to know 5 years down the line that some of these people need to just worry about right now.
Right.
Especially young adults, 18 to 24-year-olds, we got to stop and think about each step as they put one foot in forward, because then they'll start seeing the momentum.
Right.
And the change and the success.
Yes.
So I always say language. How you talk about yourself, who you talk with, what do you talk about? This right here for me is like top 5, one of the best moments of my career, because I finally can talk with a person who's so intellectually higher, and I feel awesome and validated to know that the information I've earned through my degrees is conversational to move change.
Right. Yes.
It could be used in the conversation to make change. And the last tool, if you're anything about individuality, it's being able to hold yourself accountable. Being able to stare the person in that mirror and talk directly to them and have a real conversation with yourself. Because if you cannot understand who you are and talk to you, how are you going to talk to me?
Wow.
How are they going to talk to Blessed Ministries? They're going to lie.
Right.
And we can't help those if we don't know the true scope of what they need.
Right. Wow. So it's support, language, and accountability. Yes, those are your tools. Those are fantastic tools. And I tell people, you know what? Tools is sort of like, you can't build a house with just one tool. Can you imagine building a house with just a hammer? Like
there was a time.
No, just a hammer. There's no other materials. There's no other tools.
No. You need other tools.
Right.
You need something.
You just have
what are you hitting?
Right. You just hitting it right.
You need a nail. You just beating a hole in something.
Right? There you go. Right.
I mean, that's caveman life. Maybe that worked when you beat into the rock.
Right.
But these days, no. You need more tools. Definitely more tools.
Yes. Support, language, and accountability.
Maybe that's a phrase in itself. Support, language, accountability.
Yes. Well, that's what you just said.
I'm B.E.A.R. Put that right next to B.E.A.R. Let's put that right next to B.E.A.R. B.E.A.R. means support, language, and accountability.
That's right.
And by the way, that was a crazy scene from that movie.
That
B.E.A.R. scene. Woo.
With Leo DiCaprio and that. Yeah,
there was so much more, but
Curtis didn't want to show
bears.
the full effect of the bear. he was like, oh my gosh, covering his eyes,
Hey, listen, man, that was a terrifying scene for myself. And, I got to say this, it's terrifying every day when these people are faced with, like you said, that desperation. You know, me and you have we found a way through it. We found a way over it. We used it, whatever the case may be. But there's millions of people right now, and especially in the city of Newark, that are looking at four walls and can't look out a window.
Yeah,
if you understand what I'm saying. And that's just metaphorically, physically, and it's my challenge to myself to open that window so at least you can see.
Yes.
If you can see, like I said, look as far as you can see.
Yes.
You get there to that edge, you can go farther. So,
That's
I got to get these young adults to really want to become who they want to be outside of it. That's my first question. If this never happened to you, if you didn't live here, you live anywhere you want to, money is no object, who and what would you be? And you'd be surprised of the answers. Oh, I would love to be a chef. I would love to be an artist. I would love to be an astronaut. That's still something. People forget. Like, these are dreams these kids have that we're told, you know what? You messed up. You got to cry.
Right, yeah, right.
Here's your mop.
Right, yeah, right.
And the crazy thing about that, I have one story. There's a gentleman I met along my travels and work. His name is Roy Castro. He did this. He was a drug dealer in the Bronx, came to a workforce development program that I worked for in the past, and became a janitor at an ice cream shop. He literally learned how to run an ice cream warehouse or shop by himself, and now he is the #1 distributor of Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Oh, Haagen-Dazs, that's my favorite ice cream. Oh,
yeah. So if you've had Haagen-Dazs, more than likely in Manhattan or the Bronx,
Haagen-Dazs
from Mr. Roy Castro. And he's a good friend of mine. And I only shout him out because he's the role model that I need these kids to see. That this guy went from down under, I mean, he was under the jail, to now he's one of Bloomberg's top entrepreneurs.
Wow.
He's got friends in Thai place, and he turned around and became a board member of that same workforce program. That's the thing that,
yes,
I hope the philanthropy, if people need support, we got to be there to support them.
Yes, and that's what people need to see. They need to see testimonies, because those testimonies also are tools to kind of reverse that whole B.E.A.R effect of that here saw. Just as negative as it can be just as positive. Well, Mr. Hill, oh my goodness, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming into the Urban Suite. Do you have any last words for my urbanites?
You know what? Be the change you wish to see in the world. The world is not going to change by itself. You yourself need to stand up and put your heart and mind to something and do it. And once you do that thing, pass it forward. Tell the next person to do their thing. And I'm sure if we do enough together, the world will see like a different place. And I just want to say shout out to Leandria Hill and Consuelo Hill, my mom in Charlotte. They're watching. And I know you guys have seen her across the stream. Anna Maria Hill, that's my wife. Love you. Eliza, love you too. You guys have been my great support, my rock. Without you. And my little guy coming in May. I can't wait. So that's
congratulations.
And my Urban League team at Essex County, udabon.com. I can't wait. We're going to be back in office soon. And, Essex County, here we come. We're here to be there for you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so very much for joining me in the Urban Suite. And, our Urbanites, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I can't wait. If you invite me again, I can't wait. Absolutely.
I can't wait. This is so cool.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first podcast, so I feel technical now. I'm cool. I got something to tell my kids, when they get in the class on Monday. I'm going to, on Wednesday. So I'm going to tell them tomorrow, hey, man, I'm on a podcast now,
Yeah.
Mr. Hill's in, I'm in style. I don't have no social media. I'm still in style now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hill.
Thank you very much, Mr. LaCon. Have a great night.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
You are entering the Urban Suite.
Oh, wonderful, 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 wonderful. What's happening to our social media? The social media.
You are entering the Urban Suite. Let's talk about mental health. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about urban issues plaguing our community with Dr. Lisa LaCon.
So listen, we are sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated. The Urban Suite is sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated. We are the premier workforce development agency in the state of New Jersey. And we work with various populations to get them employed, you guys. We work with those under the supervision of parole. We work with adults with disabilities. We work with youth with disabilities, like teens with disabilities. We work with those impacted by opioids in the state of New Jersey, as well as those that are receiving like food stamps and things of that nature. We do put people to work. Oh my goodness, that was a wonderful conversation with Mr. Hill. And I thank God that we are able to have conversations like that as a result of being sponsored by Blessed Ministries Incorporated, bringing light and enlightenment to souls seeking to escape darkness. I thank God for that. And I just want to say thank you guys for your donations, because over the past, I would say 2 weeks, we had an anonymous $700 donation. We had a $200 donation. We had a $289 donation. And then today I just received $1,500 from Investors Foundation, which is part of Investors Bank. Yes. So listen, we are out here in the street doing the work. Blessed Ministries Incorporated, the Urban League of Essex County. We're out here doing the work. And I just want to say thank you, my Urbanites. I want to say thank you to those that were able to donate. Oh my goodness. Thank you. So listen, we have a viewer comment. This is when Dr. Kia Grundy was on the show. Someone said, another informative show. Dr. Grundy helped me learn some things. My question was definitely answered. Would love to find a doctor like that for my daughter. Listen, I'm telling you guys, you got to tune in. You got to tune in to Urban Tunes for Change. We are growing. We are over 1,000 subscribers. Yes. Yes. Over 1,000 subscribers. And I really just started doing this in terms of really focusing with YouTube. Definitely. But I need you all to share. I need you to subscribe. I need you to like, thumbs up. And also, we're on Facebook pages. So I am on Blessed Ministries Facebook, Urban Tunes for Change Facebook, as well as Dad's Facebook. So we're pretty much all over Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So we're here. We're making strides, and I just love it. Now, as a matter of fact, this is today International Women's Day. So Curtis, who do we have for International Women's Day?
Did you know that Lauryn Hill became the first hip-hop artist to win Album of the Year at the Grammys in 1999? And the first woman to win 5 or more Grammys in a single night. Her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, spent 4 weeks at #1 on the Billboard Top 200, and the lead single Doo-Wop topped the Billboard Hot 100 as well. Not only would this make Lauryn the first woman to hit #1 on the Hot 100, but her album is considered one of the greatest of all time. Selling over 10 million copies, Lauryn's Miseducation was certified diamond by the RIAA. Even more impressive, the album was entered into the National Recording Registry and the Library of Congress for its cultural significance in 2018. Let me know down below, what's your favorite track from this classic album?
Oh, listen, let me tell you, I love Lauryn Hill, and I selected her as my International Woman of the Day. And let me tell you why. Lauryn, to me, and I'm getting ready to get emotional. Lauryn, to me, is more than the artist that you see. For years, And I have not had the opportunity to personally thank her. But for years, she has imparted in my children's lives a sense of normalcy, a sense of living in a village, because she would invite my children, the class, she would invite them to the end of the school year events, to the prom, things of that nature. Because you know what? I was trying to keep up with Lauryn with her children. I have 4. I had to stop. I couldn't keep up with Lauryn. I could not keep up. But I want to thank you, Miss Lauryn Hill, because for me, you are more than an artist. You are more than an artist. You are truly a villager that helped our children, that helped our community become unified. And as a result of that, guess what? Our children have fond memories. Our children can say, oh my gosh, I remember when Miss Hill, because they call you Miss Hill. I remember when Miss Hill, when we went this place with Miss Hill. I remember when we did that with Miss Hill. I remember when she put this huge thing together in the reservation. And I just so appreciate that. I really do. And I remember people used to always ask, well, where is Miss Lauryn Hill? And I'm thinking, well, she's at the PTA meetings. Because I would see her at the meetings, you know, talking with the teachers, in the principal's office, you know, not saying anything bad because I was in the principal's office too. I would see her being an active mother. I would see her being an active community member. And for that, you are my International Woman of the Month person, Miss Lauryn Hill. Thank you. And Curtis, I'm putting this out there on the show. She's going to be a guest one day in the Urban Suite. I'm putting it out there. Look, people say, I'm throwing it out there in the universe. I'm throwing it out there in the universe. So yes. Yes. And that album, I love that. That is one of my favorite albums. Curtis, what's your favorite song in that album?
Let's see. The whole album's good, honestly.
It is.
So many, you know, Everything is Everything. I love
that one.
You know what I mean? That's one of my favorites on that album as well.
Go ahead.
No. Just like being active in the community when people were saying that, oh, where's Lauryn and what's she doing? She was being a mother and she was being a responsible citizen and stuff.
Yes, she was. I would see her all the time.
Right.
I would see her all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, she was more active than me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have as many children. I didn't have as many, you know, but she was always there. And one of my favorite songs I have to say is To Zion. And I can relate with that song because basically they were saying, why are you having children when you need to focus on your career? And she was like, no. And the same thing happened with me. I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. Like I chose family over my profession. And she did the same thing. So every time I listen to Zion, I think about that and how nothing can compare to that. Right. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, so that's my Miss Lauryn Hill. Absolutely.
Right. Well, tell us what we got coming up next week on the show.
Oh yes, so next week, oh my goodness, we have Miss Sasha Lalit. Now listen, if you all have been with me in the Urban Suite, you have seen some of the earrings that I have been wearing. That's her. She's a jewelry maker, but not only that, she is a consultant, a business consultant, and she's an author of a book. And we're going to talk about that. Her book is called Striking Business Gold, right? Striking Business Gold to help entrepreneurs, because sometimes entrepreneurs struggle. So we're going to talk about that in the Urban Suite next week to help you. It's a very practical book. I have a copy and I can't wait to dig into it with her because we're talking about intellectual properties. Oftentimes as an entrepreneur, you do not own your title because it's intellectual property. You need to trademark your stuff. We're going to talk about that. human resources. We're going to talk about how she started. But if you are an entrepreneur, how you can thrive and not just survive. And that's what we're going to talk about next week in the Urban Suite. So I'm really looking forward to speaking with her and then inviting her into the Urban Suite and for my urbanites to meet her. And so that's who we're having next week.
Well, I think it was a really great show tonight.
Oh, yes.
Only one thing left to do, and that's for you to take us out of here.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I guess I don't want to leave. Oh, my goodness. Listen, we learned about the B.E.A.R effect. Oh, my gosh. Your beliefs expected as reality. And we learned about the 3 data points: historical data, witness data, and hearsay data, and how each one can contribute or be triggers to anxiety. But there is help out there. And we saw what that help is. And we saw how that help looks, what it looks like from the Urban League of Essex County and also from the work that we do at Blessed Ministries Incorporated. We partner with them. We love working with them. And it is a great synergy that transpires. So guess what, you guys? When you think you are experiencing something, I need you all to take a couple of deep breaths and think, is this my B.E.A.R, my belief expected as reality, attacking me? Because guess what? Your thoughts could be faulty. Your mind could be playing tricks on you. And if that is the case, it's going to trigger anxiety. And then you're going to go down the whole 8 levels of anxiety associated with fear. So listen, you guys, I just want to say thank you all for coming into the Urban Suite. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell on YouTube, as well as like and follow on Facebook. That's Blessed Ministries Facebook, Urban Tools for Change Facebook, and Dads. I will see you next week in the Urban Suite, where you will laugh, learn, cry, and grow. Thank you. And Molly, take us away.